make sure the mic's on. It's on. Okay. Welcome to the last class for this session. Next week we will be having a break. I will remind you all at the end of this class as well, but we will not have classes next week. We will be having classes the week after. If you haven't signed up for fitness classes already, please make sure you sign up. I'm teaching this class again, same time, same day, so hopefully I see your name. If not, I won't be offended. I'll just be sad. Today's a special day. So on the last class of the session, I like to make a class that accumulates everything that we've worked on, just so you guys can see how far you've come and your growth throughout attending all the classes this session. But if you haven't been here or you're new, it's definitely okay. You might find some of these a little bit more struggling. Everybody online as well, you might find this a little more difficult than you're used to, and that is definitely okay. I will try to make sure I bring up any modifications for movements I think are too difficult. But if you do find a movement to be too difficult for you and I have not listed modification, feel free to take your own pushback in that child's pose, find a different stretch. There's always an alternative, I promise. Just make sure you're doing what's right for you and what's right for your body. That being said, today might run a little long, so we're going to get started a little bit early in that child's pose. Remember, if we're trying to keep that hip stretch, our knees are going to want to be wide on the mat. Walking our hands forward, slowly lowering our chest to the floor. If you'd like to add a little bit more hip mobility, feel free to just rock side to side. Remembering to take our deep breaths. Might try box breathing here. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold, and repeat. If you have a watch, remember to start it. We're saving lives out here, people. Using this time mainly just to bring awareness to all 4 corners of your body, recognizing how you're feeling in the moment. You might try wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes, feeling your forearms pressed into the mat as you slowly allow yourself to sink further into the floor. Having this awareness throughout your body is very important for building off the rest of the class, just so we recognize what muscles we're using at the time, knowing what muscles are sore, to give yourself a little bit of a break. Taking one more deep breath in. On that next exhale, you're going to want to push yourself up, finding that tabletop position. Shoulders over wrists, slight bend in those elbows, hips over knees, engaging through your core. Your core should be strong the entire class here with every movement you take. We're going to slowly transition into those cat-cows, taking a deep breath in, arching that chest to the ceiling, finding a slight arc through that back. And exhale, squeezing your stomach. Should feel like someone's taking a string to your belly button and pulling you all the way up. Deep breath in, lowering, lifting that chest to the sky. And exhale, squeezing that core, lifting your stomach all the way up. Deep breath in, chest to sky. Exhale, arching that back. Let's go ahead and do this one more time. We're going to lower that chest, lifting it to the ceiling. Exhale, squeezing that core as tight as you can, really trying to get a good lift through your stomach here. And on that next exhale, we're going all the way into that tabletop position, but we're curling our toes underneath, pushing through the heels of our palms and lifting all the way up, finding that downward facing dog. Pedaling out your feet here, just to wake up the backs of your legs. Trying to push through our shoulders, bring our ribs as close as we can to the tops of our thighs. We slowly work towards getting both heels on the ground. Try not to round out that back. You want to keep a straight line. Should look like the top of a pyramid. Taking a deep breath in. On that next exhale, we're lifting up that left knee, Left toes all the way to the ceiling. Taking a second, big deep breath in here. And if you'd like, feel free to bend that knee and tilt those hips to the wall to your left. Still trying to keep your shoulders parallel to the floor beneath of you. Still remembering to breathe. One more deep breath in. Exhale, we're straightening out that leg one more time, lowering our feet all the way back down. As you exhale one more time, we're just going to lower our knees to where they're hovering over the mat. And then we're pushing through the heels of our palms, bringing our hips all the way back up to the ceiling into that downward dog. Turning this into a bit of a flow, we're going to lower, squeezing through your core and lift. Another deep breath in, lower, and lift. One more deep breath in. This time we're going to lower all the way down. Coming straight into those bird dogs. I know they're everyone's favorite. We're just going to stick our right arm out, kick our left leg back. Option to do this with the blocks as well. And we're bringing elbow to knee on that exhale. Remember, we're still trying to keep a straight line from the tops of our fingers, tip of our head, to the bottom of our toes. Keeping your core engaged the entire time, remembering to put a slight bend in that elbow. Just trying to alleviate a little bit of the pressure off of our wrist. Engaging those biceps and triceps a little bit more so we get somewhat of an arm workout as well. Using your breath, inhale for length. Exhale for movement. One more time. This time you're going to lower your hand all the way to the ground, still keeping that leg lifted. Do everybody's favorite, but a bit of a combo move. We're going to lower all the way down, finding that Pilates push-up. And as we push up, we're just going to give a little arc tap. Slowly lowering, gripping with your palms, pushing up through your triceps, and kicking that lifted leg to the other side of your body. For 2 more. Remembering to breathe. Exhale as you lift up. Last one. Keeping that leg lifted, go ahead and bend your knee and reach back with your right arm. If you can, go ahead and grab that foot as well, finding that bow and arrow pose. If not, just reach. One more deep breath in. And exhale, we're lowering all the way back down, pushing back, finding that child's pose. Feel free to roll out your wrists here for 1 deep breath in. As you find that exhale, you're going to walk your hands to the left, finding a deep stretch through your entire right side body. Every inhale, you're looking for length. You might try walking your fingertips a little bit further. As you exhale, you're trying to push yourself deeper into that stretch. For 1 more deep breath, really trying to stretch here. And exhale, we're walking to the right side now, finding a stretch through your left side body. One more deep breath in. Exhale, we're walking our hands back to center, Pushing ourselves up, finding tabletop position, curling our toes underneath of us, and pushing up, finding that downward dog. Taking a deep breath in. Exhale, we're walking our hands to our feet. Slowly finding your forward fold. Feel free to bend those knees if you still need them to wake up just a little bit more. On your next exhale, we're coming all the way up to standing, lifting, reaching through tops of your fingertips, finding length, taking those little side bends if that feels comfortable. Deep breaths in. One more deep breath in. Exhale, we're falling all the way forward. Coming into our half lift series. When you're ready, we're going to hinge at those hips. Coming all the way up halfway, keeping a straight back. We're lifting through those glutes. Bringing your arms up, making that Y. Squeezing your shoulder blades together. And exhale, lowering all the way back down. Deep breath in, half lift, lifting those shoulders. Bring your arms to a Y, squeeze as hard as you can. And exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, Y. Deep breath in. Squeeze as hard as you can, lowering all the way back down. When you're ready, we're walking our hands back out, finding that high plank, coming into this class. First vinyasa, slowly lowering down. Feel free to come all the way to your knees if you find this difficult at any point, but we're pushing all the way up, finding upward facing dog. If you do take it to your knees, feel free to just come up to a baby cobra. Option to look over each shoulder. Taking those deep breaths. And exhale, we're pushing all the way back up to that downward facing dog. Deep breath in. And do the same thing, but for the other side now, kicking that right leg up, toes to ceiling, option to stay here or bend that knee, facing those hips to the wall. Making sure our shoulders are still parallel to the floor underneath of us. Getting a good hip stretch in. And exhale, we're lowering that leg all the way down. Slowly lowering our knees back to the mat. Finding that bird dog one more time. Option to use the blocks. We're kicking that right foot out, lifting that left arm up. Deep breath in, finding length through your toes and through your fingertips. And on that exhale, we're bringing elbow to knee. Engaging your core, staying lifted the entire time. Only thing that should be moving is your leg and your arm. Slight bend in that elbow, engaging your bicep and your tricep. For 2 more, really squeezing your core. And last one, we're lowering our arm all the way down, but keeping that leg lifted. Coming all the way down, finding that Pilates push-up. Pushing back up and tapping that leg. Slowly lowering down, pushing up, using those triceps, tapping that leg. For 2 more. Last one. Keeping that leg lifted, reaching back with that arm, bending that knee. Option to grab that foot if you can, finding your bow pose. Working on that balance, that stability, keeping that core engaged. Exhale, letting go. Pushing all the way back, finding that child's pose. Feel free to walk your hands out to both sides or stay here. Option to turn those palms to the ceiling. Reach all the way up, touching your upper back. Just remembering to breathe. One more deep breath in. We're pushing ourselves all the way back up. Tabletop position. We're going to want to curl our toes underneath of us and push up, finding that downward facing dog. Taking a deep breath in. On your next exhale, we're stepping that left leg up all the way right next to our left hand. Feel free to drop that back knee if that feels comfortable to you and push that left knee out, finding a deep stretch through your hips. Deep breath in. This next movement, you might want your blocks. So if you have those handy, feel free to grab them. We're going to walk our foot to the inside of our mat, bringing the blocks to either side of our body. And we're just going to straighten out that front leg. Finding that nice hamstring stretch, or if it feels comfortable to you, lifting those toes to the ceiling, feeling a little bit more in that calf. Option to make this a flow by bending and straightening, increasing that mobility, or you can keep it a static stretch, just leaving that leg straight. Deep breath in. Exhale, we're rebending that knee. Bring ourselves all the way up, lifting those arms. We're just going to do a T-open stretch, increasing that upper thoracic mobility, opening towards your bent knee. I guess both of them are bent, but towards your left knee. Trying to open a little bit further every time. Deep breaths in, expanding through your stomach. I'm going to open up one more time, and we're just going to reach back. Feel free to lift that back leg up and grab that foot. If you're looking for more of a quad stretch, or just reach. Deep breaths in. Focusing on that balance and stability. Length through your fingertips on every inhale. Deepening that stretch through every exhale. Go ahead and lower that foot. We're going to curl our toe underneath of us. Find that bend one more time. And we're lifting all the way into a lunge. Slowly letting our hips sink further to the ground. Feel free to move those blocks out of the way. Just remembering to breathe. Deep breath in. On your next exhale, we're opening our feet all the way up to the wall in front of us, lowering our hands, interlacing our fingers behind our back, expanding through your chest, lifting it to the ceiling. Feel free to add a bit of a neck stretch in here too, looking for the point of tension and just letting it stretch out. When you're ready, we're going to hinge at those hips, leaning a little bit forward. If this is uncomfortable for you, feel free to let go of both hands and just do a forward fold. Deep breath in. Exhale, we're letting go of both hands. Feel free to grab a block if you need a little bit more support. We're going to lower our right hand onto the block, lifting our left palm up, or bringing your right hand all the way to the floor. Little tripod position. Deep breath in. Slowly letting yourself deepen this stretch. On your next exhale, you're going to rotate your feet. Feel free to watch as well, but you're going to rotate your feet in front of you and windmill all the way into a chair pose. Feel free to grab a block here if you'd like to add a bit more of a leg workout, squeezing it. Just doing a bit of a hold. If you'd like to add in heel lifts, that's an option as well. Get a little bit of a calf workout. Just remembering to breathe. One more deep breath in. Exhale, we're dropping that block, stepping back with our left foot, finding that lunge, lowering all the way down to that knee. Placing one hand on the ground, using your right hand to push that right knee out. Finding a bit more of a hip stretch. Still taking those deep breaths. When you're ready, we're walking that foot back to the center of our mat. Keeping those blocks handy, we're going to place them on either side of our body. Use them for that straightening and bending flow. Making sure we're straightening out that front leg. You should be feeling this in your hamstring. If you'd like more of a calf stretch, you're lifting those toes all the way up to the ceiling. Trying to keep our hips square to the floor beneath us and the wall in front of us. Option to bend and straighten if you're looking for that flow. If you are working on that flow, you're just going to try to deepen that stretch every time. Both bent and straightened. Remembering to breathe. When you're ready, we're bringing that foot all the way into a bent position, leaving it there, lifting ourselves all the way up, arms in front, back into those T openers, increasing mobility through your upper thoracic spine. Slow and in control, focusing on balance and mobility, squeezing through your core. For 2 more. Last one. This time we're reaching all the way back, lifting that left arm up and overhead, reaching for that back foot. Option to lift your left leg, grabbing onto those toes, finding a hamstring and a quad stretch. Still squeezing through all four corners of your right foot, keeping that balance. Still remembering to breathe. Exhale, we're letting go of that foot. Bringing our arms all the way back to center, curling those toes underneath of us. Lifting up, finding that lunge. Slowly letting our hips sink further. Deep breath in. We're going to pivot to the front this time. Bringing our arms behind us, interlacing. Feel free to drop into that forward fold. Taking a big deep breath in here. When you're ready, we're dropping that left hand down to the ground or onto that block, reaching that right arm up. Length through our fingertips. One more deep breath in. When you're ready, we're pivoting those feet again, slowly windmilling back up into that chair pose. Option to put that block between your legs or do alternated heel lifts if you're looking for a calf workout. Holding here for 10 more seconds. Deep breath in. Exhale, we're standing all the way up straight, length through those fingertips. Exhale, diving forward, finding that forward fold. Deep breath in. Feel free to put both hands under your feet too if you're looking for a wrist stretch. Finding length through your spine. Exhale, we're stepping that right foot back. Coming back into that lunge. Lifting all the way up. Deep breath in. Exhale, we're opening up, finding that warrior two position, finding length through both sides of your fingertips, staying strong through your legs. Deep breath in, reaching that left arm up overhead, sending that right arm back. Reverse warrior. Deep breath in. Exhale, we're windmilling over, forearm to the top of that thigh. Side angle stretch. Deep breath in. Feel free to grab one of those blocks. We're going to windmill fully. Bring one hand to the inside of that foot. And lifting your left arm up, fingers to ceiling. Remembering to take those deep breaths. One more deep breath in. Feel free to turn this into a flow if you want to lower that knee. We're just going to reach forward and back. Reaching forward, opening that chest, lifting through your core, pushing through your inner thighs. One more deep breath in. Exhale, we're pushing that block all the way, coming all the way back up to that chair pose. Fully standing straight, option to lift that right leg. Finding that tree pose, taking those taps if you're working on balance. If you're wanting to increase the intensity, you're going to kick that leg over your thigh, slowly lower down. Gripping through all four corners of your left foot. Squeezing through your toes, pushing through the heel of your foot. Deep breath in. Exhale, coming up to standing and kicking that right foot all the way back. Feel free to bring your hands down to the floor here. Coming into a modified warrior 3, creating a bit of a flow out of this. Feel free to lower that leg and kick it up again. Squeezing through that right glute. If you're wanting an arm workout with this as well, you can kick up that leg and lower through your triceps, pushing back up. Making sure we're still breathing. For 2 more. Last one. Lowering that leg all the way down and taking a little bit of a bend through both knees. When you're ready, we're stepping back with that left foot now, finding that lunge. Lifting all the way up, strength through our hips, stability through our core. Reaching through your fingertips as we pivot and find our warrior 2. Opening through that chest, trying to keep that knee stacked over those ankles. Deep breath in. Exhale, reaching that right arm over, finding that reverse warrior. Still looking for length through the tips of your fingertips. Exhale, we're coming back. Half windmill, forearm on top of that thigh, side angle stretch. Deep breath in. And if you still have that block handy, we're just going to windmill fully. Your hand on top of that block. Option to lower that back knee or stay lifted. Praying your hand all the way up. Length through fingertips. One more deep breath in. Exhale, option to lower that knee. We're going to reach forward and reach back. Reaching forward and back. For 2 more, still breathing, trying to expand that mobility with every reach. And last one. Reaching forward again, but this time we're going to pick ourselves up, coming all the way into that standing forward fold, lifting ourselves up, length through the fingertips, reaching for the ceiling. We're going to lift our left leg up here, coming into that tree pose or taking those taps if you're working on balance. But if you'd like to increase the intensity, you're just going to kick your foot over top, slowly lowering down, gripping through all 4 corners of your foot. You might find that one side had better balance than the other, and that's completely okay. bringing awareness to that. Exhale, we're coming all the way up, standing straight, lowering that foot or kicking it back, finding our modified warrior 3. Option to add that flow here if you want to lower and lift, squeezing through the glutes or bending through the elbows. Just remembering to take those deep breaths. Squeezing through your core, pushing through the heels of your palm. Slight bend in those elbows. For 2 more. And last one. We're lowering all the way down, but we're stepping our feet to the outside of our mat. We're going to slowly let ourselves fall, coming all the way down into that yogi squat. If you're working on this stretch here, feel free to put a block underneath you, sitting on it, or falling all the way forward onto your palms, slowly letting yourself sink further and further onto your heels. The objective here is just to keep your chest lifted, squeezing through your glutes, gauging your hip flexors. Next movement that we're about to do has 2 different versions you can do. I'll show both, one of which is tapping your knees to the inside. But if you'd like a modification, you'll come all the way down to your glutes and do that little runner stretch that we were doing earlier. Whenever you're ready, feel free to choose either one. We're just going to start by giving our hips a little bit more love today. Still remembering to breathe. Exhale, lowering all the way down, coming to those glutes. Feel free to cross those legs in front of you. We're going to come all the way into that butterfly stretch, walking our hands forward. Taking a deep breath in. Walking our hands to the left, lifting your right arm over. Just to create a bit more of a flow, we're going to wrap and swing ourselves forward, lifting our left arm up and settling on our right forearm. Taking a deep breath in and swinging forward again, but switching sides. Feel free to stay in that static stretch. Alternate when you'd like, or meet me in this flow. For 2 more. Bring a bit more flexibility through that back. And last one. Lifting all the way back up to center now. Kicking our legs in front of us. Heels even with our glutes as we slowly lower down. I'm going to push through the heels of our feet. Tilt our pelvis up and in, squeezing through our glutes and with our core, lifting all the way up. If you'd like to add on to this stretch here, feel free to interlace both hands behind your back, coming all the way up and onto those shoulders. Deep breath in. Still squeezing through those glutes, keeping that pelvis lifted. Exhale, lowering all the way down. When you're ready, we're going to kick that right foot up, lifting it over our left thigh, grabbing onto the back of your hamstring or your shin. Option to rock side to side if that feels comfortable. When you're ready, we're kicking those hands out to either side of our body, gently letting our hips fall to the left. Still trying to keep both shoulders planted on the ground. One more deep breath in. Exhale, coming all the way back up to center, unhooking your leg, lifting your left, and hooking it over your right. Grabbing onto your hamstring or your right shin, gently pulling your leg closer to you. Option to rock side to side. One more deep breath in before we send our hands to either side of our body, gently letting those hips fall to the right. Still keeping both shoulders planted on the floor. Taking one more deep breath in, coming back up into center, unhooking your leg. Bring the soles of your feet together as you let your knees fall to either side of your body. One hand over your heart, one hand over your stomach. We're going to meet here for the last few breaths of class today. Taking this time to set your intention for the rest of the day. Letting go of any stress or tension that has been built up throughout the day. Bring awareness to all four corners of your body, wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes, feeling the back of your head pressed into the mat, and the rise and fall of your chest. You might try box breathing here. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold, and repeat. As you slowly allow yourself to sink further and further into the mat. That's going to bring us to the end of today's class. Thank you all so much for coming, and congratulations on making it through another Yoga-Pilates fusion session. Just a reminder, there will be no class next week, but we will start up again the week after that. Look forward to hearing everybody's feedback and seeing you all again for next session.